Hi, my name is Lexi Jong and welcome to my channel. Today we are talking about part of the Suqqu Autumn Winter 2020 collection. Now I do have another video featuring the blush palette, which is this gorgeous palette here. And that is what I have on my cheeks right now. And I also had a lipstick with that video, and that is going to be number 117, Givenchy. And it's this pretty plum shade. You can see that these are going to be more of a lipstick balm hybrid, and there is a little bit of shimmer in here. I have really been enjoying those two items, so I decided to try some more Suqqu, and I picked up the eyeshadow palette that goes with this collection, as well as another lipstick, which is what I have on my lips now. So let's go ahead and discuss the palette. The palette comes in a black plasticized cardboard box with some foam cushioning inside to help prevent any breakage. And the palette is made in Japan, and it's 0.19 ounces or 5.6 grams. The palette itself has a black plastic case, and you've got the bright gold bottom. This is plastic. You have a full-size mirror at the top of the palette. And then these are the 4 shades. You can see I have been using this. I have a few looks to show you. And over here in this well, you do have 2 applicators. So you have a foam tip applicator with a rounded end and a pointier end. And then you have a little brush, which they're both rounded ends, but this one here you can see is much longer for a more diffuse application. Then you have a smaller end as well. The palette also comes with a piece of plastic over the actual shadows. Now, if you take a close look at the palette, you'll see that the green shadow here has Suqqu imprinted on it in gold, and I tried very hard not to smudge that. The other 3 shadows do not have anything printed on them. These are the 4 shades. And you can see the gold here is very light, but it's still pigmented enough that it is a shadow and not a topper. However, if you go in with a light hand, you can use it as a topper, which I did in part of today's look. Then you have this bright orange kind of metallic shimmer, and this is going to be more of like a pumpkin orange. It's very pretty. And then we have this soft metallic in this berry shade. And then this 4th shade here is kind of a khaki green with a little bit of gold shimmer. And the actual shadow itself is more of a satin matte shade, more satin, but it does have that sparkle on top, which livens it up a bit. The other item I purchased is another lipstick. I really wanted to get both of them, but the lightest one was sold out, and I haven't seen it come back to Selfridges. Now, these lipsticks, they come in this Suqqu packaging. You can see Suqqu is imprinted here. I'm not sure if that picks up. And then it indents where it opens. This is 0.12 ounces or 3.7 grams and is also made in Japan. The top here is a little mirror, so you can kind of see what you're doing. And then this is shade number 118, Shuori. And you can see that it's a soft, warmer red. Build this shade up here. And we've got a little bit of gold glitter in there. You see how moist that is? It's a very nice lipstick. Now, between these 2 shades, I love both of them. I think for me, the Givenchy's a slightly better shade for my coloring, but I do really enjoy both of them. They have this really thick, balmy feeling to the lipstick. They're very comfortable to wear. They last fairly well. One thing to note is that the red shade felt a little bit grittier upon application than the purple did for me. And as soon as, I had it on, that feeling kind of went away, but I could feel a little bit more of that glitter when I first put it on and smacked my lips together. Now I don't feel any of it at all, but I just wanted to note that. I have a few looks to show you, and then we'll meet back here to go over my thoughts. I have the Hourglass Veil eye primer on. This is the Esom G34 brush. I'm going into the orange. Wing Gauze 06 in the green. Same brush in the purple. Wing Gauze 23 in the gold. Going back with the Esom G34, just a touch more of the orange. And I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup, and then I will be back to finish the eyes. For the lower lash line, going in with the Refer 23 in the green. For the upper lash line, I'm taking the Chantecaille Luster Glide Silk Infused Eyeliner in Olive Brocade. Back in with the Refer 23 in the gold, just adding a tiny bit under the brow. This is the final eye look up close. I'll add mascara and I will meet you back here for a distance shot. This is the final eye look from a distance. And I'm going to try it on with one of the new lipsticks from the fall collection. This is number 118, Shuori. You can see this is a soft warm red with some gold shimmer. Let me show you a swatch. This is one swipe. And that's it built up. So it's definitely going to be a little bit more of an orangey red. And that's the final look for today. I have the Hourglass Veil eye primer on, and I'm taking the Blender Pro from Sonia G into the green. Soft shader from Sonia G in the peachy orange shade. Same brush in the purple. Wipe the brush off, same one, gold. Just tapping this right in the center. Blender Pro again, and just blending out the edges. Refer 03 in the gold. Adding a touch under the inner third. And what's left goes under the brow. Same brush in the green. Using the Chanel Stilo Ombre A Contour in Contour Brun, which is number 34. Taking the Refer 03 with no additional shadow and just softening that line. Gonna finish my lashes and I'll be back with a distance shot. This is the final look from a distance. Thanks. I have the Hourglass eye primer on and I'm taking the KC08 in the gold. Twirled my brush in there. KZ07 in the green. Just gonna tap over with a little of the green over the gold all the way to the inner corner. Taking the same brush and going into the gold and just lightly tapping on top to get a very light shimmer. Taking the Esom S33 No Shadow and just blending in the crease. I haven't decided if this is all I want to do or not, so I'm going to finish my makeup and then I'll be back. All right, I think I'm going to pretty much stick with this eyeshadow today, but I do want to add a little bit more gold. So back in with the Chikuhodo KZ07. And I'm just going to add a little bit more to the inner corner and the first half. So I have more of a gold gradation. Taking the KZ08 into the gold. Just going to drag this under the lower first portion. Then taking what's left on the brush and just putting a little bit under the eyebrow arch. Wiping that brush off and going into the green. For the upper lash line, I'm taking a Linda Hallberg crayon in Ori Flash. Just gonna stick close to the lash line to add a little bit of gold shimmer to it. And now I'm just taking the Chanel Ombre A Contour crayon in number 34, and I'm just gonna kind of smudge a little close to the lash line to get a little more depth. Taking the Chantecaille eye blend brush, and I'm just smudging that liner. I'm going to finish this off with some mascara and then I'll be back. And this is the final look from a distance. And now I'm going to apply the Moisture Rich lipstick in Shuori, which is number 118. And this is the final look. I hope that was helpful. My thoughts on this eyeshadow palette, I really like it. This is my first attempt with a Suqqu eyeshadow palette, so I have nothing to compare it to. And when I first saw the promo pictures of this, I passed on it because, you know, honestly, the color story, it seemed a little disjointed to me and I wasn't really sure how I was going to use it. But then I loved the eyeshadow palettes, or the cheek palette so much, I decided to go ahead and try an eyeshadow palette as well. And I really like it, and I have found it to actually be a pretty inspiring color story. There are so many different ways to mix it, and because you do have cool and warm tone colors in here, you know, I think it works well for a lot of skin tones. You can kind of have more of an emphasis on whatever you prefer. Now, one thing I'd like to note is these colors are all, you know, true colors, no real neutrals in here. So, I mean, it's sort of, the green is sort of a neutral, the gold can sort of be a neutral and so forth. But this might be something that if you'd like to tone it down a little bit, you know, aside from this look here, you might be interested in adding some other shadows to this palette. I think using these as accent shadows is a very nice touch as well. Now the actual finishes on the shadow, everything applies like a dream. The colors, they go on true to color, they blend out beautifully, and they layer very nicely as well. So when you do layer these, you still can, you know, it's not so opaque that you're completely blocking out whatever you have underneath, which I personally really like because I think it's a great way to get some nuances to your eyeshadow. I ended up really liking this color story because there are so many things you can do with it, or, you know, even just using them as accent colors to some neutral shadows and so forth. I just think that everything applies very nicely, and I like the variety of finishes. Although they all have some sparkle, they are definitely going to be a little different because this gold one, again, it's sheer enough that you could use as a topper, but opaque enough that you could use it as a lid color. This orangey shade is definitely going to be a stronger metallic, and you can see how much shimmer that has, whereas the berry is definitely a softer metallic finish, and the green is going to be more of a satin finish, and you can actually see a bit of that matte shadow kind of underneath there. I think this palette works really well for both day and night looks. If you want something more subtle or if you want something more dramatic, you can do that. Obviously, you are using color for, you know, your variety of looks, but I think it's a great palette. I'm very happy I ended up purchasing it. I definitely plan on purchasing more of the Suqqu eyeshadow palettes in the future. As for the lipstick, I really like it. It's a little bit warmer than what I would normally pick, but I love the finish on this. I love that little bit of, you know, gold glitter in there. I think it's subtle, so you're not really seeing it, but it adds a little reflective quality along with the hydration of this balmy texture that just makes your lips look so plump, and, you know, it's a gorgeous sheen on it. So I really love both of the lipsticks. My preference is actually to the Givenchy shade over this Shuori red shade, but I do really like both of them, and I can see myself wearing this red a lot during the fall. I think it is a great warm red for fall colors. That sums up my views on the additions to the Suqqu Autumn Winter 2020 collection that I purchased. And I hope this was helpful. If you've tried these items, I'd love to know your thoughts. In particular, I was really hoping to get the green single shadow, but I haven't seen that return, or I was too late the last time they restocked that. I would love to know though how the singles compare to the eyeshadow quads, and if, you know, any of these fall winter type collection items differ in quality from what's part of their permanent line. I do plan on picking those up at some point, but I'd love to get any feedback that I can. And that's basically it. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in my next video. Have a great day and stay safe and healthy.